Namaste ji, namaste. Welcome to Courtroom by TLOI and welcome to lecture number 6 of the Observer series. Today, the Prime Minister announced the 100th Ramsar Site of Wetlands in India. So therefore, this is a very hot probable current affair that can show up in CLAT AILET. You can use this lecture series for UPSC prelims. You can use this lecture series for the NLSAT. For your current affairs prep, you can check out the other lectures as well, the previous 5 that we have done. Now, the main news is that the designation of the Jai Prakash Narayanan Bird Sanctuary, that is the Suratal in Balia, Uttar Pradesh, as the nation's 100th Ramsar Site. So, this was basically declared. So, what are the MCQs? If always, so train your mind like this, that if it is the 100th or if it is any number, even if it was the 95th, always ask which was the first one. So, that is one MCQ that we need to cover out. Alright. Then, what is a Ramsar site? How many total in India? That is, well, 100th. Then, which state has the maximum number? Who is this person? So, I wish to train you to think like the examiner so that instead of merely spoon feeding you, and this is the theme across all of these lectures, is that whenever you are also reading a random current affair, you also start to think. So, for example, if any MCQ comes your way or any passage comes your way in CLAT, they can go in depth to any extent. If you're watching this for UPSC prelims, etc., you pretty much know the depth that you need to cover it at. CLAT AILET, that depth I will pretty much cover for you. Now, Suratal in Balia, Uttar Pradesh. So, Suratal yaad rakhna hai, Jai Prakash Narayanan Bird Sanctuary. So, I want you to write this down. You can pause and then basically we can come back to this. So, the Ramsar Site. So, now what is a Ramsar Site? What is a wetland? That we'll need to cover. So, we start with the Ramsar Site ki jo treaty hai. And there is a framework. So, there is basically a cooperation agreement between nations that we want to protect such sites. So, because there is a very specific kind of a life form, or you can say biology or biodiversity, biological forms basically, that only prosper in these areas. So, we keep on conserving them so that specific kinds of birds, specific kinds of organisms, they are protected in these areas, because else we'll just do massive industrialization and, well, eat up everything and make it into a concrete jungle. So, the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands of International Importance, especially as waterfowl habitat, is an international treaty for the conservation and sustainable use of Ramsar Sites wetlands. So, what is the official name of the treaty? Well, this is it. I want you to just make a bullet point. It is also known as the Convention on Wetlands, short mein, and it is named after the city of Ramsar in Iran and the year. So, what is the MCQ? Where is Ramsar? What is Ramsar? Right? I used to say it as Ramsar, but I believe now it's Ramsar. The correct pronunciation is Ramsar. Ramsar, in where is the city? That is, the country is in Iran. In which year was this convention signed? 1971, Convention on Wetlands. There is a Wetlands Day also. Then today, when I'm shooting this was announced on the World Environment Day. That is the 5th of June. So, 5 tattva hote hain hamare yahan par. Prithvi, Jal, Agni, then you have Vayu, and then you have Akash, right? So, 5 tattwon se bana environment, aise yaad kar sakte hain hum. That's the World Environment Day. Then, of course, we need to cover out the themes. Alright, so this is basically the MCQ. Then now, what is a wetland? Now, wetland is an area of land that is either permanently or seasonally covered in shallow water. So, something like this. So, it's a mix of zameen. Is a very low quality image, but anyway, you get the point. A mix of land and water. So, it is permanently or seasonally covered. Now, this is also one fact that you need to know. Alright, or has waterlogged soil. This is absolutely okay. It acts as a transitional zone between dry and deep bodies of water, etc. I do not wish to read it merely from the screen, but it's a mixture of water and land, and permanently or seasonally. That is the key point, right? And animals that have adapted to live in wet, low oxygen conditions. There are two words very similar. There is one adopted and then there is adapted, right? So, adopt is when you adopt a child, when you adopt someone or something as your own, that is adopting, the one with the O. Adapt is when you modify yourself to a condition, when you change basically your core nature and you adapt to it, right? So, and like for example, CLAT 2026 also asked about the word assimilation, right? Assimilation is again a smaller organism that integrates itself into a larger environment condition. All right. Now it says managing wetlands is a global challenge. ये पूरा लिखने की जरूरत नहीं. Convention presently counts 172 countries as contracting parties. So how many member nations are contracting parties to this convention? That is 172. UN में कितने हैं? That's 193. Only two are not members of the UN. That is, one is I believe the Vatican City and then Palestine. Rest total पूरी दुनिया में कितनी countries हैं? That's 195. So 193 are members of the UN. And herein we have 172 as contracting parties, which basically the countries they keep on recognizing and keep on designating such sites. Today we have designated the 100th one in our nation. So at the center of Convention on Wetlands philosophy is the wise use of wetlands. This point I want you to make because, well, this can certainly be asked. All right. बाकी वो पूरा कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है. The wise use, this keyword is important. So how many times or what periods of time basically these parties they meet? This is 3 years. All right. So this is basically pretty much is 3 years. So they met in 25. Now they are going to be meeting in 28. Then the MCQ comes 25. में कहाँ मिले थे? 28 में कब मिलेंगे? Right. Alrighty. So 25. So these are called as the conference of the contracting parties, COP. Do not confuse it with COPs of the climate change conference that keeps on happening. That is completely separately different. Okay. So every 3 years is another MCQ. Then you have the 15th conference of COP on wetlands. This was in Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe from July 23rd to 31st of July 25. So last year they met. Now they are going to be meeting in 2028. So wetland wale mile hain Zimbabwe mein, and the next one they are going to be basically meeting in COP16 is in Panama City in 2028. So all MCQs pretty much are being covered. Convention was signed in 1971 already. Then where is the secretariat? The headquarters of this treaty, this convention is International Union for the Conservation of Nature, IUCN, in Gland, Switzerland, if my pronunciation is pretty much correct, because European pronunciations they differ a lot. But write down the headquarters of this treaty. Okay. Then who is at present the Secretary General? Now if before your exam this thing changes, this person changes, that is a probable current affair. Before your exam you must also track down who is the president of this year's session of the UNGA. So 6 organs of the United Nations, the UN General Assembly, the Secretariat, the Trusteeship Council, the Economic and Social Council, ECOSOC, and then you have the Security Council, and the last one is ICJ. Now the ICJ is in The Hague and rest everyone is in New York. Please cover out IMF as well, please cover out World Bank as well. These are short static GK topics. Anna Berlock, I believe, was the last president, but is साल दोबारा एक president as annually we choose for the General Assembly session that takes place in New York. ये अगर बदले तो अभी के हैं डॉक्टर मुसोंदा मम्बा I believe, है ना, Masanda Mamba, she's a woman, is the Secretary General of the Convention on Wetlands. Then which state has the highest number of Ramsar sites? So Tamil Nadu has the highest at 20, and now UP, क्योंकि यूपी में बना है ना आपका जयप्रकाश नारायणन जी वाला ये वाला काम, तो अगर आप इंटरनेट पे जाएंगे तो किन्हीं वेबसाइट्स पे 11 है, that's not updated. Then on the official website of the government of India, because that has not been updated even today, because अभी आज ही हुआ है, तो in I think in another week's time they will be updated. So they will mention it as 12, but actuality में अगर आज वाली गिन लूँ, so now UP has 13, the second highest. So Tamil Nadu, and then basically you're looking at UP. Alrighty. तो सबसे पहली कौन सी बनी थी? This was in 1981 इंडिया के अंदर, and India's first Ramsar designation was shared by 2 wetlands of international importance. The first one was Chilika Lake, Odisha. तो ये एक ही बार में these 2 were designated. Chilika Lake in Odisha and Keoladeo National Park in Rajasthan. So these were the first 2 sites. The convention was signed in 71. We designated this as the Ramsar sites on wetlands in 81. Very important MCQ. I believe KBC में around 3 lakh के आसपास का प्रश्न का level. World Wetlands Day is celebrated on the 2nd of February, right? So this is extremely important, 2nd of February. And इस साल की theme, of course, for the Wetlands Day is Wetlands and traditional knowledge celebrating cultural heritage. I hope that you're making the bullet points in your notebook. Pen chalega to yaad reh jayega aur compendium kitne hi track karenge aap. Right? Official theme is for the World Environment Day. World Environment Day is celebrated on the 5th of June, as I've already told you. Inspired by nature for climate for our future is saal ki theme. This is almost always questions that can always pop up. And the World Environment Day is the celebrations are led by the United Nations Environment Program. This is also a PYQ. World Environment Day के पीछे हाथ धो के पड़ जाते हैं तो आप भी हाथ धो के पड़ जाइएगा. So UNEP, and this was hosted by the Republic of Azerbaijan and at Baku. Right, I believe that we have covered out pretty much everything. And now the largest Ramsar site in India. So the largest, the largest is Sundarban wetland in West Bengal. West Bengal में एक और भी जगह का नाम है, मतलब wetland से नहीं, just for static GK purposes, known as the Chicken Neck, the Siliguri corridor that connects the northeast to the mainland India. Basically, very very important. और इस साल तो फिर it was quite in the news. And this is the natural habitat for serves as a vital habitat rather for the Royal Bengal tiger. So Sundarban wetland in Bengal is the largest one in India. First ones we have also covered. All right. Now we see who was JP. Now JP was a very very important figure. So Jayaprakash Narayanan, Lok Nayak, right? Hindi for people's leader. So which of the following politicians was popularly known as Lok Nayak? So this was Jayaprakash Narayanan, जिनके नाम पे ये wetland है. Right, and he's mainly remembered for leading the mid-1970s opposition against Prime Minister Indira Gandhi and calling her for her overthrow in a total revolution. Very, very important figure, very central to Indian politics. We'll be covering out political science lectures of class 11th and 12th on the channel very, very soon. So do follow that series if you're in school. Then Narayanan was posthumously, that is post his death, was awarded the Bharat Ratna. What is the MCQ that I'm looking at? Which of the following JP was not awarded which of the following awards, or what had been conferred with which of the following awards, something like that. Or Bharat Ratna, which of the following has not won a Bharat Ratna. So general awareness के अंदर ये लोग कुछ भी पूछ लेते हैं. Bharat Ratna, right? So he has a Bharat Ratna. Mahatma Gandhi didn't have a Bharat Ratna. Mahatma Gandhi was not a member of the Constituent Assembly. Mahatma Gandhi didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize. Standard static GK के प्रश्न. Right? Recognition of social service. His other awards include the Raman Magsaysay Award in 65. Alrighty. Very, very important details. Total Revolution, Lok Nayak, Mr. JP. And with that, we have covered out whatever they can ask from this current affair. Wishing you folks all the very best. I implore you to watch this lecture series, and it will really tremendously aid you in your current affairs prep. Wishing you folks all the very best. Do take very good care of yourself. Explore the CLAT AILET resources on this very channel. You will find a lot many. Take care. Bye.